I'll just record. I remembered. So I was thinking about it this morning. I never get ready for this ladies class. I guess I'm just hanging out with the girls. It's fine. I was like, hopefully y'all don't mind that I'm just like chilling. I'm always in the bed too. But it's because Brian's doing his class, so I take on this area. Oh my gosh. So, well, anyways, good morning. I love all of your beautiful faces. Looking so good. Tiffany got her hair all curled, all scrunched and natural. Just, what is it? It's natural. Isn't that a word that people use? It's like you're looking snatched, but natural.
Oh, for Etta and Brittany, I'm still wearing the shirt yesterday.
I try and stay up with the times. And then you have me. This is my shirt that I slept in and worked out in this morning. So and I think I wore this yesterday to the mall with Brittany.
Well, we had a Karen in the office yesterday, and I had this shirt that says "Thank you, Captain Obvious." I was like, I think this made her more mad.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I'm, by the way, definitely still wearing the same shirt from yesterday.
I'm not wearing the same shirt from yesterday because my child peed on it last night. So I am in a different shirt.
Look at us. But anyways, good morning, all. I'm excited to spend some time with you guys. So I wanted to go through, I know that we had some people, I want to just kind of get some updates. We always start with some updates from the ladies from the last class. I know I gave you guys some homework as well. Did anybody do that? Where it's like, how can I be more admiring? How can I be more playful? Did anybody do that? If not, it's okay. You're not going to get in trouble. We'll give it to you again for this time. Anybody do that homework?
I completely forgot about it because I had to do the other one with Lewis. So I did not do it. I'll be the first one to admit.
Okay, so I don't see any hands going up. So I don't think that one got done. Oh, look, Siri's like, I'm not sure. She said, I'm not sure I understand. So we'll just do that one again this week then. So that way you guys can take some time to do that exercise. I think it's so important. I do have another exercise I'm going to give you guys today as well, possibly, unless y'all tell me no, let's just stick with one. But we do have our ladies Marco group, so we'll just have to remind each other. So that way we're taking the time to use this for growth, and so that we can, just be better versions of ourselves. That's always the goal. Those of you reading Atomic Habits, if you just get 1% better each day, it's like 37 times better in a year. So that's a really big deal. And so this is why we take the time each month for us to get together as a lady group. And that's just helping us get that 1% better. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm all about, let me improve, let me grow, let me make sure that, and it's not even just about improving and growing. It's really about, I want to be able to live my life in a beautiful state the majority of the time, and really I like to say all the time, because I just have moments that are not so beautiful, but I don't think that it's like a ruin a day or ruin a week or ruin a month or anything like that anymore. And the way that you just program that is you have to make sure that you're willing to do these exercises so that you can have the opportunity to live your life on your terms. And that is totally up to you, whatever that means to you. It's living your life on your terms, living your life in a beautiful state, not staying pissed off, not staying upset, for very long, and really just taking that as a moment. So I think that's a big deal. So that's why we get together and we get to be open with each other and honest and no judgment zone, which I love. I think that's the most important, is the no judgment. And I think that all of you guys on here would agree that this is definitely a safe space for that, and that we don't have any of that kind of stuff going on, which is great. I'm like, Natasha, what are you eating? You're making me hungry.
Yogurt and fruit and granola.
I love it. You're gonna always depend on Natasha. Any meeting, she's gonna have a snack. Okay, she's prepared. She's like, look, let me not get hungry during this. Don't need the blood sugar going down. Oh, yay, we get to see Miss Heather. I had to mute you earlier. We heard you yelling at your dogs, but it's okay. We all understand.
Oh my gosh, sorry. I had to walk them and get them ready, and sometimes they are a little aggravating. So my cat's actually knocked my dang screen off the counter as well. So I'm like, what are you doing?
Yep. Totally understand.
Having 18 animals is a little stressful.
I would say so. I think 18 animals is a little more than I can personally handle or would be willing to handle. But I love it. All right, go ahead, Jody.
So this is a question totally off topic, but it's something that I just want to help a little bit of help with. So I've been drinking water a lot better, but I don't track my water. I just drink it. And what I'm finding is I do really, really well when I'm at the gym, but outside of the gym, I don't really drink as much water as I should. So is there a way like, do you guys know of anything like that you can mark your cup, or is there a way to keep track of your water? Like, okay, so what is, okay, yes,
So
but how do you know how many times you fill it up?
Okay, so this is the best water bottle ever. I could be a salesperson for this water bottle. It is tacky. Mine looks terrible. There's also some other brands on there as well. The main thing, as I always talk about it, is about the flow. Okay, so it's about how much water goes into your mouth. Like it's just a good flow. Okay. So that's why I love this water bottle, but also you have the times or whatever. And it's 32 ounces, which is great. Cause if you guys want to take a note, water is everything. Your body needs water. Your mind needs water. Like it's so important to have water, and you're supposed to drink half of your weight in ounces. That's how much water you're supposed to drink. Half your weight in ounces.
Jody, I just sent Joey the link for that water bottle this morning because he wants one. So I'll forward it over to you.
Sounds good.
I thought Hannah was crazy when she said it's about how it comes out of it's the flow of the water, but she's absolutely right. You drink way more than you would expect because it just comes out so smooth and
Seriously.
out. I mean, it's crazy. I thought she was insane, but she's not. She's absolutely.
I did too, but having that water bottle, I definitely drink. I'm serious. That water bottle is life changing.
It really is. I drink so much water now.
So Jody, to answer your question, you just gotta in your mind think about, oh, I filled it up at 10, and then I filled it up at 2, and then I filled it up at 6. You're gonna have to just keep track of how many times you fill it up, or just make that your goal that every 2 hours, even hour, you're going to fill it up. That's how you're gonna keep track of it.
Yeah, I probably should just set an alarm, but I haven't done that yet. And I like this one because this one's more than 30 ounces. Like I like the Valor Cup, like it's good for me. But what I find is when I'm at the gym, I'll drink 3 of these at the gym, right? Which is great because I'm getting 90 ounces in at the gym. But the problem is then I don't drink any more, right? Or I think I'm drinking it, but then I'm like, oh shit, it's in the car, right? Or whatever. Like I just don't keep track of it anywhere but the gym right now. And I know I'm habit stacking, which is great. I've got it at the gym. Now I just got to figure out how to get it outside of the gym, but so I was just curious if you guys had a way of tracking. So I guess I'm just gonna have to set an alarm.
I just know how many that I need to have. So I just know that I have to drink. Really, I only have to drink about 2.5 of these, but I drink 4 of these a day. So I just know my number. So when I do that, Natasha thumbs down. She's like, but I have to be careful. So my thing is I can over drink water and I'll dehydrate myself because I'm drinking too much. That has happened to me to where my mouth is so dry because it's all that I drink. I don't drink any. I've started adding in teas, which is great. Like some this morning and last night I had it before bed, like the chamomile tea and stuff. And that's helping. But I mean, really, that's just water too, with a tea bag in it. So I think it's the same. But which, by the way, this is not water in here. This is collagen. So don't think my water's nasty or anything. But the main thing is you have to know how many times you need to fill that cup up. And then I think alarms are good, or just making a tally system. You just have to figure out the way that works best for you. I also encourage all of you guys to keep a Like I buy like a case of water and I keep that in my car. So that way, like I'm not having to stop at a gas station and grab a water or anything. Like we always have a case of water in the car. And if we forget that when we start going somewhere, we'll just stop at like Quick Trip or something and we buy the case. We don't buy one, because then you always have the water. It's always there, easy, especially when running lots of demos. Definitely a big deal. So I would encourage, and that helps me a lot as well, is just having it readily available. So I think that that's a good one too. But yes, go ahead, Michelle.
Sorry, my mouth don't move fast enough. Okay, so Hannah, I was going back to the assignment you had given us, and I didn't raise my hand because I was like, I can't remember. I feel like it's been a while since we met. But one thing, so I will say, I tried this right afterward, the exercise 2, because I did exercise 1, but exercise 2 about being, if I'm making sure this is the right one, how to make your man go crazy over you. Is that the other one that you were talking about? Okay, cool. So the one that just kind of played with a little bit is the Lever for Life, being passionate and playful, just try to do like spontaneous type things, because it is, as you get older, and a lot of you are younger on here, but when you get older, sometimes it's for you forget to remember to be spontaneous and to just like just to take him and grab him and do whatever. So that one was pretty fun. But the one thing that I did,
Michelle, she always brings in the dirty element. I love it.
I mean, just kind of make some spice happen. But it was fun. I will say that a couple of times, because I do this a couple of times, just sporadically anyway. But okay, so I think I told you this last time. One time was at the office, but then the other time was we were just going down the road, just so silly, just kind of like not crazy like that, but just kind of like unbuckling it.
Michelle, just stop here.
Anyway, okay, so this playfulness is fun. But the one thing that I did want to ask you about, okay, so number 3 and number 4, the spirited girl, being self-confident. That's one of the things that I feel like I'm for sure working on, just building back up self-confidence. Not really sure where I might have even lost that, or not 100% lost it, but just kind of shied away from that. But number 3, Hannah and Angel, authentic, radiant, and real. Tell me some examples for that you were saying that would totally make him go crazy for something like that. Because I'm just like, I don't know. Is that something we do anyway? Or is there specific things that you do, or anybody else tried that?
So the main thing is, and I'm going to go ahead and put the questions here, or I'll have you guys type them in the comments, so that way you guys can have them as far as the homework that we were going to do last time. Number 1 was, how can I be more authentic and radiant? So how can I be more authentic and radiant? Someone type that in the comments for me. And then it was number 2, how can I be more playful? How can I be more playful? And then number 3 was, how can I be more accepting and admiring? How can I be more accepting and admiring? So those were the questions. So really, I don't think that there's a right or a wrong answer when it comes to these, Michelle. I think it really depends on you. And like I always say, think back to like the beginning of the relationship, how you acted and how you were willing to do, because the whole saying is, what were you willing to do at the beginning of the relationship?
You don't want to know. I'm just kidding.
Anything though, anything to make them happy. Absolutely anything. We were willing to do anything. It's like you would cook dinner every night, if that's what they loved. And then now you're thinking, why the hell can't they cook dinner? Sometimes I'm freaking tired of cooking, So, but in the beginning, it didn't bother you at all, because you were just really trying to impress and serve and love and give everything, your whole heart, to this person, and then it's like we get frustrated with stuff as we, are together longer. So I think that it's important to note that. So I always say, go back to the beginning of the relationship and how you acted then, and what are some things that we can implement now, to that. So as far as how can I be more authentic and radiant, some things that you might would write down is, I walk with self-confidence. I don't criticize myself in front of my man. I make sure that I take the time to get, ready for him, or, I take the time to just do things that are out of my way to make him feel special. All of those things are being more authentic and radiant, and also making sure that you're being true to who you are as a person and at your core. Rachel could actually help with this too, because I'm not sure if she's still in there, but we talked yesterday with her and Samuel, and she was like, no, I'm actually being like, over the last, month or so, because I told her, I was like, I want to see some, stuff at home, some improvements at home. And she was like, I would say over the last month or so, I really have been, being more myself instead of just staying closed off and back, which makes a big difference. So, but for every person, that's so different. So it's kind of hard for me to answer that question for you. I think that you just have to do some exploring yourself to be like, okay, how can I do that? Which, Natasha, I saw your hand go up too.
So I remember these questions, and I actually inadvertently did them. Like, I forgot about the exercise, but it just something that just kind of happens. One, everybody knows I've been focusing on working out. And so when I come home, Kelvin's usually getting ready to go to work. And so he's like, good job, congratulations. He's like, I can totally see a difference like in certain areas, because he knows different areas that I'm really working hard to improve. And so he's just more complimentary about, that. And even when I can't see it, he says that. And then it's so random, but like now, like when I go out, I actually get dressed, I put on my jewelry, And so I told Kelvin, I was like, man, I've gotten hit on like 3 or 4 times a week lately. And it's like really like boost your confidence. I know you're laughing, Hannah, but I mean, it just makes a girl feel good.
No,
And
I'm
then he just gives me that
smiling.
side eye.
I'm like,
He's
damn,
like,
girl. I was being your
exactly,
hype girl over
so,
here.
inadvertently I did this. And so all of this just reminded me that, okay, I was listening. I just didn't focus to do it, but it happened. But yeah, that's been something that was really funny, because we always joke about, like, before I used to get hit on all the time. And then I guess I just stopped, caring. I don't even wear sweats and stuff like that. Like, I have on lounge stuff now, but he's not home. So I had a dress on earlier. So when I took my mom to the doctor, so it was just different. So just taking more time for me, which means it's helping him, if that makes sense.
No, I love that. So we got it in your subconscious. So you didn't consciously do it, but it was in there. So see, that's a big deal. I love that. Which, Rachel, did you want to add to that at all? Since I kind of
you were asking about being yourself in front of him. Is that what you were asking me? Sorry, I had the headset on and I had a customer. So when you said my name, I was like, "Huh?"
Well, yesterday we had talked and I was like, hey, I want you to apply some more of this stuff at home. And you were like, I really feel like over the last month, I have been more myself and not like closed off, closed back, and like scared to say anything, type of thing. And so that it's been going well.
So for me, like I've never had an issue with like weight or anything else like that. But since Hadley, now going on like 5 years, like I'm not secure with the way I am. Like I fake it, but like I'm just constantly like feeling like my rolls or whatever I've got going on. So this whole change as far as feeling like losing weight and stuff has been a big deal for me. But then we went to Chateau. He just kept going on and on about that pink dress that I wore at the cherry thing. He was just like, my God, good Lord, like, holy shit, like, babe, because everyone's like checking you out. And like, he just made this huge deal about it. So I started really feeling myself. So since then, like, Samuel's got back issues and then his feet hurt and he whines a lot because he's 6'4", so everything hurts. So I'm always rubbing his back. But it's a chore. But now it's not so much a chore. I'm doing it and I'm like, babe, God, you got the hot. I'm just like hyping him up. So we've been like hyping each other up together. But at the same point, I'm getting more fiery and like feeling myself. But at the same time, like if we're having arguments, Samuel's like a big intimidating kind of dude, you know? So when he gets irritated or he's like grumbling or something like that, I used to take it like, oh God, what did I do? And I would like kind of like shriek down and cower. And it was just because I'd lost my confidence. So like he came in to the house and he was in the kitchen and he was fussing. I said, so you seem very irritated right now. And I don't feel like I've done anything. So what's bothering you? That damn lawnmower. I have to go over the strip 15 times, but he's been short to me. He's like cut Hadley off. Like he's just been rude. And I was just like, so you're frustrated with a lawnmower? He was like, yeah. I said, so tomorrow I'll call and I'll have them come and pick the thing up because it's under warranty. I was like, is there anything I can do to help? And he was just like, no. So he sat there and he was looking up stuff. I'm like, what are you looking up? And he said something about like, I'm looking up this. And I was like, oh, did you know if you spray cooking spray on the bottom of it? I was looking up different things to help him too. So I was taking a vested interest in what he was looking at. I stopped reading my Inner Circle book and I did that to him because a lot of times we'll sit there and I'll read Inner Circle and then he'll do something else. But like the other day, he didn't want to talk. He just wants to shut off and walk away. And I chased that man back and forth, but with intention, and I didn't let up. Yes, we had a big moment, but afterwards he was just like, I'm really sorry. And I was like, I know I need to give you space sometimes, but sometimes you have got to talk to me. Like, yes, sometimes I do need to let him walk away. If it's just something small, something, whatever. But if it's something that's literally, we're going to be in silence for days, which used to be our cycle. Like he would get mad. He'd kind of say something and I would shriek down and everything and I would cower and it would change my entire day, everything. Like, no, we're going to talk about this. Even if you tell me I'm mad at you because you suck, fine. Just tell me what the heck's wrong. That's all I needed. I disagree. We'll talk about it later, but you're going to tell me what's wrong. So it's like, I've kind of gotten more ballsy. At one point I was like, listen here. And I like pushed him and he looked at me and he goes, what'd you think? He goes, if you were a grown man, I'm like, I'm not, but I wish you would. And he was just like, so the next day he's like, it kind of turned me on a little bit in the middle of everything. I'm looking at you like, dadgum. And I was just like, see, you know, so maybe it's
The
not
ladies
the best.
don't hear what she's not saying, which is don't go pushing your men. That doesn't really work.
Don't physically be
Please
abusive.
don't. Please
Don't.
don't. So
Don't.
no.
So yeah, I'm just getting my confidence in myself back as a woman. Like I'm like, I'm sexy, I'm fierce, I'm awesome. I demand this. Like this is what I need in myself. And it's like, you're not going to shut me out. Like we're a team here. We're going to do this. I haven't left you and I'm not going to. But if you don't talk to me and shut me out, you're going to be alone in this. So I don't know. I guess I got gained confidence in myself and I'm looking at myself in a different light. So, you know, and he's not used to it, but he likes it. So
Yeah. No, it's a big deal because I bet if you were to look back, Rachel, I'm sure that you were more that person in the beginning of your relationship. You know, so that's where you kind of have to look at that. But the main thing there too, which I hope you guys heard, she said, what are you upset about? Where normally she would have just been like, oh shit, what did I do? And been like upset and in her feels. He's like the lawnmower. Like, guys, don't assume that someone's upset with you. They have their own stuff going on too. And it could be something as simple as the lawnmower is aggravating him. You know, that's a big deal. So go ahead, Jody.
So I want to kind of piggyback off of Natasha because I feel the same way. Although I didn't set out to do this specific assignment, I have been doing it. So I agree. It's the same in my subconscious. And Gabby and I even posted on Dauntless about an experience at Dunkin'. And it was so funny, but it was like just being completely playful. Definitely we've done a lot more of, just complimenting people when we're out, striking up conversations for absolutely no reason. Just being more, laughing and joking and playful on purpose. And so that's been really cool. And I had a really good breakthrough with Mansell called me out of nowhere and said, hey, like, what do you think? Can you help me? And it was really interesting because the reason he called me and Gabby was because he said, you guys are always smiling and always happy. And that made me feel really good because I do get really serious sometimes. And I think people don't really understand what my heart is because I am super emotional. But most people see like this hard exterior. So it's just been a lot of fun. It's been fun to see how customers react to me. It's been fun to see how RCs react to me. It's been fun to see how complete strangers do. So even though there's no man at home to play this out with, it's been a lot of fun to do it with in just practice, you know? So I've enjoyed it for sure. So that was a lot of fun just to do that.
No, I think that that's so awesome. And guys, you'll just notice what's happening is just, it's like channeling more of that feminine energy. Like that's exactly what that is. Being more playful, just being more radiant. Confidence is the sexiest thing. I promise you, your men and people around you as well. It's not just your men. Hate to hear you criticize yourself in front of them. And I have to catch myself. Like sometimes I'll be like, oh my gosh, I look terrible. And like, he's like, no, you don't. But like that literally is so unattractive. It really is. And it is so unattractive as well when someone gives you a compliment and then you argue with the compliment, which we've all been guilty of. It's like your husband's like, man, your hair looks really good. You're like, oh God, it wouldn't even lay right. Like it looks like crap, you know? And he's like, well, shit, I want it look good. Like that's making him feel like an idiot because he's like, well, am I stupid? Because I think it looks good, you know? But as a woman, we can stand there and we can criticize ourselves. That is so unattractive. So it's like, I have to catch myself too, you know, because it does happen. Like it actually happened today in the gym, the lighting in there. I don't know who needs to design lighting in a gym, like, because I did my cardio today and like, it's like these terrible fluorescent lights. So if I were to ever open a gym, it would be like the beauty lights where everybody looks spectacular. It's kind of like when you go into a dressing room and you're like, oh gosh, do I really look like this? This lighting is awful. We've all been there where you see angles and you're like, what the heck is this? I do not look like that. So, but I'm like looking at this mirror and I'm like, what the heck? And then I had to stop myself because I'm like, Brian's in here with me. Like, that's not attractive. I need to own it and be confident and just, you know, I'm doing something great for my body. Who cares what the heck it looks like in a bad lighting? You know, it's not a big deal. That doesn't define who I am. But that is definitely something for you ladies to make note of and make sure that you guys aren't doing is don't criticize yourself. You shouldn't do it anyway, but definitely not in front of others, and just own the compliment. If someone says that they really love something about you, just say thank you. Don't argue with it. Just say thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Oh, you're so kind. You know, whatever you want to say, but that's important. So to me, that's another thing as far as being, you know, confident and radiant and real, Michelle, is just, you know, you're taking that energy and you're putting it towards like, you know what, I'm a boss babe. Like, you know, it doesn't matter. And you have to walk around with that attitude because that's what's so attractive. And that's attractive to everyone. Like, it's not just your man, it's attractive to everyone. People can tell a confident woman when she walks in a room. People can tell. Go ahead, Alina.
So earlier you had said, you know, don't criticize yourself in front of your man, and it made me think of this. So, and I never really realized it till I really just saw it all over his face. At Chateau, I forgot a bathing suit. So I was like, I'm probably not gonna have time to swim in pool, and we ended up having time. And Heather's like, well, go find one. So I was like, okay. Of course, keep in mind it's a bad time to go look for a bathing suit because everybody's selling out of bathing suits and they're not getting more in. And the problem with me is it's really hard to find a top because it's so bad my husband's
because you have big, beautiful boobies. So
yeah, they've always been way too big for my body. And even Brandon's like, I mean, you want to have a reduction, that's fine. But anyways, if the problem I ran into, I was like, if I found one that would fit them, it would be way too big around. So we went to, and I was just like, I want to give up. I hate my body, blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, no, we're going to go find one. I swear we went to a Walmart first, then a Target. We went to the mall. We went to Forever 21. We went into a bunch of other stores. Finally, JCPenney's had a ton of theirs. So we finally found one after a bunch of, but you could just see, and I never noticed it. You could just see he was just getting so upset. Not the fact that he had to go to different stores. He was totally willing to do that because he wanted me to feel better. But anytime I was just like, I hate this, I hate the way this looks, I hate my body, he was just,
Yeah.
he hated it. And I'd never really realized it till then.
No, that's a big deal. So now you can be like, oh, no, no, no. And it's okay. I mean, it happens. We're all
Yeah.
human and we're going to do that. It just, you have to put yourself in check though and be like, oh, no, no, no. No,
But it
no.
made me feel amazing because I feel like a lot of men would just be like, just forget it, we'll just swim a different time. He was just like, no, we are finding you a bathing suit.
No,
Did I get to use bathing suit? No, but it was just sweet to know that he was willing to go
Oh.
to any store to find
I
it.
love it. Oh my gosh, Natasha, Megan Stallion, really? Oh, so funny. Go ahead, Janelle.
Okay, so I'm not gonna put my camera on because Zach and I are both on, and it's probably gonna get me a lot of like interference. So I just want to let you guys know that, and we're gonna work on it. That way, next time you guys can see my face, maybe I'll go to like the front office. I don't know, but so my thing with like talking good about myself, and I don't know, I guess I get in my own way about it because sometimes I just feel like if I'm like super in love with myself, then it's going to give off a completely different impression and not like exactly what I want it to. Like I feel like I'll be like, act like, oh, I think I'm better than everybody. And so I kind of like put myself down in like a place that's like, just balanced. So it's just really hard for me to like do that. So I just want to hear how other people if anybody else struggles with that too in the beginning of, like I love when you say like, put lotion on your body and just thank your body. And, like I just feel like, I don't know, I love that idea. And I just feel like, I don't know how to describe it. I just think there's still that part inside me that, might like, I don't know how to explain it. So I just wanted to hear maybe somebody else talk about if they've had those struggles of like actually loving yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Alina raised her hand first, so we'll go.
So I was just gonna say, I used to struggle with that, back when I really was very confident, like right at the end of high school and after I graduated. And I always used to get oh, she thinks she's all that, or she thinks she's better. And what I had to realize was, it's not that they really thought that, it's just they were jealous of the confidence. It's something they wanted and didn't know how to achieve. Because I have so many things written in my yearbooks that were like, because I was stereotyped all crazy. I was a blonde cheerleader, so I was just stereotyped like crazy. But all of the people in there were like, you were the only one that actually talked to everybody. Like I was friends with the geeks. I was friends with everybody and talked to everybody. And a lot of my friends in high school used to say, I thought you were a bitch till I met you. Just because. But after that, it finally, after I got my yearbook back, after everybody signed it, it made me realize, okay, I can be confident. And then I got this thing of, oh, she thinks she's all that. And it was just because people wanted that and they didn't know how to get that. They didn't have the confidence.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Gabby.
So Janelle, the biggest thing is like who you are inside too. So you give like the best compliments. You have like the brightest smile. Like I could see you across the room and like eye contact, and all of a sudden you're like super smiley. So just keep that in mind too, that like on the inside, your heart is super pure. So knowing that should add to your confidence too. And people will see that. So like I had to learn how to smile more, honestly, because I do have like the RBF type of deal. And let's face it, I got a whole lot of attitude on top of it. So it's one of those things where like people just see you and they look at the exterior. Yes, I do, Hannah. Go ahead. But they see the exterior. And so once people get to know you, they realize that like you're super genuine, super pure. And that's the biggest thing, is always like, the confidence is great, but confidence with a smile will turn that completely around. So then it's like, oh my goodness, girl, like not only are you the bomb.com, but you're also super sweet. Like that'll add to it. So just reminding yourself to smile more, I think will kind of break down that exterior, where people view you as like your shit don't stink. But also there's times where that's necessary. So keep it in mind. There's certain times where you gotta be like, no, I own this and I am the best. And even if you don't like it, but I'll still be nice to you. So just keep that in mind too, because you are super, super.
And it's just great to like hear that you guys relate to it, and thank you, because yeah, the RBF is a real thing, and if I'm not like constantly smiling, which sometimes I'm just like thinking about things that aren't reasons to smile, so I think, yeah, that's super relatable. And then Alina, yes, in terms of like what I'm carrying from what other people have kind of tried to bring me down about, like, I guess it kind of reminds me of the stuff like with Rainbow, like you're either, selling the yes or they're selling their no. And so I guess I want to keep, that confidence up and just try and like rebuild that. But thanks, guys. I love you.
I love it. And I think Natasha had something to add too. Go ahead, Natasha.
Janelle, also you gotta think about the things that makes Janelle happy, because you can't be happy and make other people happy until you make yourself happy. So you really have to focus on that, whether it's physical, mental, you're just getting your mind right, your body right, you're just eating the things that you like, even some healthy stuff too. So you just gotta focus on Janelle and start, one area and then grow to more areas and more areas. And then you'll see everything else change around you, because your outlook changed because you're looking at yourself differently.
Yes, absolutely. And one thing I want to add to all of this, guys, is you get to decide whether something is true to you. So I think a lot of times because people say things one time. So like, for example, I never really noticed that I did this until people started pointing it out. And at first it was in a negative way. And I actually, when we went to Relationship Rock Stars, it came out as a compliment. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that that was a thing anymore for me. But like, I got criticized by how I walk, because I guess I walk with my hips a moving. Like I just move my hips when I walk. It's a natural thing for me. And I got criticized for it, and just like early on in life. And so then I would be like so self-conscious about even how like I walked and stuff like that. And then at Relationship Rock Stars, it was actually Robin. She was talking about, because we were talking about getting in your feminine and moving your hips and like that kind of thing. And she was like, one thing that I've always loved is Hannah's walk. Like when she walks like a lady. And I was like, shut up, thank you. Like, and it brought me back to those moments. But I could have decided in that moment long ago to be like, whatever, this is my walk. What someone thinks of you is none of your business. So good and bad, what someone thinks of you is none of your business. And it really is a reflection of them and their world and how they see things. It's not a reflection of your world and how you see things. So you get to decide what's true in your world. So when it comes to, if you're like self-conscious about stuff, a lot of it, if you dig deep in it, it's because someone said something a long time ago and you decided to put that as true in your head. And so you live by that rule, but that's not even your rule. So you have to literally question your own thoughts, question your own assumptions, and just be like, no, that's not accurate. That's not true. And one thing too is a lot of times I think we think that people are more worried about us than they actually are. Like people got their own stuff going on, and we think, and we're so like self-conscious about it that, oh my gosh, what are they thinking about me? When we walk into a room or something like that, or does this look right? Or did I say that right? Or did I present myself right? Or whatever the thing may be. And a lot of times, if you were to ask those people, like they weren't thinking about that at all. It's like the example that Rachel gave about the Samuel and the lawnmower. She could have thought that he was upset with her, but really he was just upset about the lawnmower. Someone can be short with you and it have nothing to do with you. They just had a bad day. So it goes down to, and I love this book, The 4 Agreements, where it says, don't make assumptions. That's a rule. And also, don't take it personally. It's not about you. It's not about you. Don't take it personally. So I think those things are such a big deal, which I think, Gilletta, you had something to add to.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, which can you hear my fish tank?
Not bad this time. But
Okay.
we know you're not on the toilet. Anytime she barks at us, she sounds like she's peeing because her fish tank sounds like that.
Freaking
And
fish
we're
tank's
like,
so loud.
girl, I don't know why every time you're marcoing, you're peeing, but this is getting weird.
No, but I was gonna say, so I've struggled with like my self-confidence for the longest time, and Nick has told me plenty of times, like, babe, you are superwoman. I don't know why you think of yourself so lowly. He's like, you literally do so much. And he's told me, if you are not happy with yourself and you're not taking care of yourself, then you're not going to be able to efficiently take care of other people and make other people, like, help other people feel happy. He's like, if you're not happy with yourself, then how are you supposed to help somebody else? Or like with the family, like if you're not taking care of yourself and taking that me time and, you know, helping yourself, then how are you going to help the family or take care of the family? He's like, somebody's going to get left behind basically when you're not, you know, helping yourself. He's like, you have to take care of yourself. You have to feel better about yourself. He's like, when I look at you, I see Wonder Woman. I see someone who can do anything and everything. And I'm just like, thank you. And I'm the worst at taking compliments. Oh my gosh. Whenever anybody like at Chateau, everybody was like complimenting me because I was wearing a dress and I'm all like dressed up. And I was like, thanks. Like, I don't know how to take any of this. So whenever he's telling me this, I'm just like, like getting all like teary-eyed.
So sweet.
But I'm just like, so I was like, that's what I was wanting to say. Just Janelle, I will agree also. I love seeing your face. Every time I see you, your smile, like it doesn't matter what's going on, your smile just like brightens the day because you just bring that joy into the room with you. You just literally just like, Janelle's here. Oh my gosh. I just love seeing your face. Just like seeing you just like bring such joy into a room. So definitely don't like, same for me. I got to work on my self-confidence.
I love it. I love it. No, and it's so true. And that's so sweet, Gilletta. That's awesome. But it's so important to know that, guys, self-confidence is absolutely like a work in progress. It doesn't have to be something that's like, you know, there's a finish line and you're trying to cross it. You know, you're going to have your ups and downs with it. You know, you're going to have days where you feel great and then you're going to have days that you don't feel so great. It's just important that on the days that you don't feel so great, that you're still kind to yourself. You know, that's the most important thing, is to be kind to you. And the book, it's the 4 Agreements. It's a very easy read. You can really read it in almost a day. I mean, just a couple hours, you know, it's very quick, but it's very powerful. It's very simple and very easy to apply. But basically you get to decide. And Rachel, she just read it for Rome. So it was great listening to her give me her feedback on it, because I was like, man, I haven't read that book in a long time. So it really brought it back. So it was like, you get to decide your own heaven and your own hell here. You can either choose to live in your heaven here on earth, or you can choose to live in your own hell, you know, and who wants to live in hell? I mean, hopefully no one on this screen wants to go there. But it's a very important thing that you get to decide that. So I think that that's huge. Go ahead, Michelle.
I was just going to say, kind of along the lines of what other people were saying, but you know, the exercise that we did, I think it was the time before last, where you have the body ring it, you know, you're getting yourself into that critical mind, but then you're teaching yourself. The purpose of that is also to teach yourself to be able to go to that majestical state where you're finding the beauty in everything. Because reality, us as women, I think people every day, you get so critical mostly of yourself versus others and other things and situations. It's just like what Rachel said, like, you know, it's almost like, what did I do to make you mad? Like you automatically go back to self. And you just have to, the more practice we do at this, because I mean, this is when I say this is something I still have to do every day, multiple times a day, is when I start to feel that self-critical moment or whatever it is that I'm saying to myself, that self-doubt, the lack of confidence. I have to like, okay, you got to switch this around, or it's going to, you know, you're going to take more than a few minutes or a few seconds, and it's just going to ruin your day because you start going into this little hole, and it's like, you know, like you're not good at this, or you look a certain way, or you're just, you know, you're unhappy or hate this, whatever it is about it. And, you know, just teaching your brain to be able to go back and like, okay, no, let me think of the good about this, or let me find the beauty in this. And just changing the way you think about yourself also helps reflect in how you start seeing things outward too. So
Yes.
that was to me like a big takeaway and a big purpose of that exercise. So if you didn't do it, I think it would be great to go back and do, or even redo again if you did do it, because that you have to be critical, but then you also be able to teach yourself to find the beauty in it. And that's the same thing for ourselves every day.
Yes, absolutely. So for those of you that did not do it, it's basically where you stand in front of a mirror, butt naked, you in all your glory, and you write out all the things, you go on a rant about all the things that you don't like. You don't like this, you don't like that. Like get down to the nitty gritty even, you know, like about, I don't like this sunspot, or I don't like this, you know, wrinkle on my leg, or Michelle, she said she didn't like her, what toe was it? There was a specific toe you didn't like.
Yeah, so I was talking about my you know, it's coming to my head about pinky toe, your pinky toe that don't touch the ground. Like, oh, that's so tacky. And then I have a middle toe that don't bend. It's just totally straight. You know, just every little thing about your body.
Which I still have yet to notice that her pinky toe doesn't touch the ground, but this is another thing of where we're so ridiculous with ourselves where no one would ever notice that about your damn toe. But you know, or Michelle said her hooded eyelids, or you know, it was a big deal to do, because then you take and say, what's the positive of it? Like, what's the beauty in it? And so you switch it around, and some things are hard to find the beauty in, because we're like, well, what the heck is, you know, pretty about this, you know, but there, if you dig deep, there is something, and you can come up with it. And it doesn't just have to be about its appearance. It could be about its meaning. It could be about what it's taught you. It could be, you know, Michaela was great because she was like, how do I find anything good about my acne that I have? You know, and then she was like, well, I'm actually less critical of others because I understand. And I look at them more with, you know, compassion and love, because I do struggle with this. So I don't see people on a, you know, a skin level, you know, I go deeper than that. So that's a really big deal to do. And it's important. And you can even do this because guess what? You do the body rant, you're still going to have things that you don't like. So then when you realize something else you don't like, you just got to quickly switch that around, you know, and that's a big deal. So that's huge. I did write this down when it came to when I was coming over notes with this for class today. And it is about selection, ... It is about selection. I'll type it too. Selection, ... Not selection of a partner. It is selection. Now I can't spell. Selection of who you are going to show up as. So it is about selection, not selection of a partner, but selection of who you are going to show up as. Like Michelle's like, it's true. She's like, preach, girl, preach. Give me some praise hands. I love it, but so true. It is about selection, not selection of a partner, but selection of who you are going to show up as. Your relationship has everything to do with state. Any relationship that you're in, it has to do with state, the state that you are in, and who you are bringing to the table in any conversation. Am I coming at this in a playful manner, in a loving manner, an authentic, radiant manner? Am I coming at this just pissed off? You know, what way am I coming to the situation? Because that has everything to do with the outcome. Everything to do with the outcome. Just like with Jody and Gabby and that lady, they finally got a smile at her at the end, if y'all watched that Marco, you know? But it didn't even matter if that lady wouldn't have smiled. Guess what? Jody and Gabby still had a freaking blast going through the drive-through, you know? It doesn't matter how other people perceive or how other people take things is none of your business. As long as you're being genuine and you're not being ugly, okay? Like, because I'm not saying you can just call someone anything you want and then just be like, well, I don't care what they think. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that as long as you're being genuine in your heart, if they take something that way, of course, if they come to me and I'm going to try and explain and be like, I didn't mean it that way. However, if they take it a certain way, it has nothing to do with me. Like, it has nothing to do with me. I am my own person. I cannot control those around me. And if you have to find happiness in other people, there's something wrong. Because guess what? People are going to screw up. People are going to screw up. They're people. You've screwed up. People are going to mess up. And so if I'm only happy if Brian is happy, gosh, what a miserable way to live. I cannot control how Brian's day goes or his mind and, you know, any of that. Like, I can only control myself and how I choose to view things. And one thing, if you start noticing more beauty around you in the world, so this may sound silly, but I do this quite often, that I will, when I'm sitting somewhere, or let's say I'm walking and there's people passing by or whatever, in my head, I will literally look at these people, and in my head, I will say, I love you to them. Like, in my head, I'll just be like, you know, thinking, I love you. I love you. And it's like I'm trying to put that energy out around them. And I notice that when I do that, and I definitely do this whenever I'm in like a mood, I'll like trigger myself and switch myself into this. And it just puts like this light in me. Like, I feel so alive and so great. And this person doesn't need to know that I'm saying that in my head. I've had it happen several times that I'm like putting this energy out, and all of a sudden I'll get like smiles from complete strangers. And I know it's because I'm putting this like love bubble out, you know, I'm just like putting love out into the world, you know? But it's really cool to do that, because when you start to notice the beauty in little things, like, I mean, it's stormy outside right now, but if I say, man, you know, I just love the way that I feel when it rains, like it's just cleansing the earth. And like, you know, when I take a shower, a lot of times I'll be like, man, I'm just cleansing myself from any bad, you know, it's all in what you say when you're doing something. And if you do something with intention, so like even taking a shower for me, I try and be intentional with that, of like, oh, I'm washing away the day. You know, I'm washing away any kind of negativity, any bad, and I'm keeping all the good and all the beauty and all the love. You know, but I can be intentional with anything. And so I think it's a big deal. And if you'll notice yourself, if you do that, even to people who look crazy, because I mean, I've done it to people who look a little crazy, you know, not my style of things or whatever. We all know, we've all looked at people and been like, what the heck? But I'll say it, I'll just be like, man, I love you. Like, not out loud. Once again, that's weird. Don't be like going up to strangers saying I love you, and they're going to be thinking that you're weird. But if I'm just like putting that love out, like that's what's going to come back to me. So that's one thing important to know, is whatever you're putting out, that does come back. So like I said, that may sound really weird. But I think that it's a great exercise to do. and you'll just notice yourself seeing the love and the beauty in the world. Go ahead, Michelle.
No, I love that, Hannah, because you just think about like really what the Bible tells us to do. In the Bible, we're supposed to love one another. And being so self-conscious of that with everybody you come out in contact with, I mean, yeah, you're not saying it out loud, but you're putting out love and you're saying, to yourself, I love you. You're putting that out in the energy and that out into the atmosphere. And that's what we're supposed to do, as children of God too. We're supposed to love one another. So I love that. I've never ever thought about doing that, but I love that. I think it's something I should try.
Yeah, you'll notice yourself. And I mean, I don't do it every time that I see a stranger, but I really do try and be intentional with it. And when I think about it, especially when I'm in a large group, like I'm going to be passing a lot of people, I'm walking through people. It's kind of like a habit now that I'll do, just seeing it. But I think that it's really powerful. It will change your outlook for sure.
Look, when we're all in a group together with Hannah and she's just looking around smiling, she's just doing it in her heart. She's like, I love you. I love you. I love you.
Oh, I love it. Go ahead, Jody.
I can't remember which book it was that I recently read, but it might have been Love and Relationships. But one of the things that's pretty cool is that you can't be upset and grateful at the same time. And I know, Hannah, you say that a lot. So anytime I find myself in a situation where I'm upset, the way that I reduce the time that I'm upset is I intentionally be grateful for things that are around me or myself, whatever it is. Like I intentionally start thinking about grateful things, and then that puts me out of the bad mood and back into a good mood. So even in a house, when I'm doing a demo, if I find that I get frustrated about something, I immediately find myself getting grateful about other things, right? Whether it is a kid that's just super happy or whether it doesn't matter what it is, I find something to just be really grateful about, and it immediately changes me. So if I change me, then I'm giving different energy out. So I really appreciate that activity, and I'm doing it a lot more now. And I'm finding that it's extremely helpful. So anyone who does struggle with that, whether it's frustration or they find that they're more irritated or angry or frustrated during the day, the more time that you spend that, I think, Hannah, when you said every time you get angry, it actually lowers your immune system for 4 hours. That was something that was such a big deal for me. And I'm like, I'm not choosing to put myself in that position.
5 minutes of anger. That's all it takes is 5 minutes.
Yeah. So for me, that was ginormous, right? Because I think that was the part that made me go, oh my gosh, like we cause it, right? And I know Chris says it too, like we're responsible for everything that happens. I am who I am because of me. And I think that that's just such a big deal, but it is how you choose to be. So if you spend that time being angry, you're actually damaging yourself. Like, wow. Right. So you're not even hurting anybody else. You're hurting you, but crazy enough, like you're not only just hurting, like in mindful, you're hurting your body. Like that's crazy to me. So I think that really made it where it was more important to be grateful. So anytime I find myself in that situation, just gratefulness, just that's what you got to do. Right. And then crazy enough, we got these 2 little kittens, and I'm not a cat person. This is such a crazy thing. I am not a cat person at all. Like I am a dog person, 1000%. Right. But what's so crazy about this is I'm finding so much joy in these kittens, just the way that they do things and the way that they are so carefree about things and the way that they interact with each other, and just, oh my gosh, they just bounce for no reason. And they're just so stinking happy. And so like, you can't be unhappy with these 2 little kittens running around. Like they're chasing each other right now. It's so crazy, but just being grateful for those things. So I encourage you, don't lower your immune system if at all possible.
Yeah, no, that's so huge. And you can learn so much from nature. I mean, so much, from other animals and looking at them. Like that just taught Jody, she was like, gosh, I got to be more carefree like this damn kitten. I'm just going to channel my kitten, So, but it's a big deal to notice those things. But that's Jody finding beauty in everything, that's so beautiful to see, because Like, she's like, I'm not a cat person, but like, I can just find joy in just like watching these little kittens just be kittens, And that's okay to find joy in silly things. For some people think that's silly. I think it's freaking wonderful and I love it. And I think nature is like the best place to find, inspiration, to find your grounding. Like, one question that we got asked for the Q&A, so we'll kind of expand on a little bit, but it was like, how do you find like your inner peace? And it was like, man, the first thing that came to mind is like, nature is like number one in grounding yourself, and getting like away from yourself and into something that's bigger than you, that's huge. Go ahead. Kiona had her hand up first, I think.
So whenever you said something about washing the day off when you shower or whatever, that's like a big thing in my house. Like everybody, well, I don't make Joey, of course, but my kids, everybody, we have to take a shower at night just to kind of wash the day off. And that's what I tell them too. We're going to get in the bath, going to wash the day off, all that kind of stuff. And I notice like on days that we get home like really late and we don't do that, nobody sleeps as well. And then of course I shower again in the morning because that's just how I kind of start my day. So that's just a big deal in my house and it really makes a difference, I feel like.
No, it really does. It's huge. And now you can even take it a step further and be like, okay, so we're washing off anything that upset us today. And then we're going to keep all the stuff that made us happy today. We're going to keep all of that, but we're going to wash off anything that made us upset,
There are even times if I'm having like a really bad day. And I even told Jody this, I think it was yesterday or the day before or something like that. If I'm having like a really, really bad day, I will just go get in the shower. Now that it's typically a cold shower, but it just kind of helps reset me a little bit.
Yep, absolutely. I think that's awesome. Go ahead, Alina, which I know guys, we're running over a little bit, but that's okay. If y'all are good, I'm good.
Two quick things. One, with the shower stuff, I actually read something that like even with kids when they're like being super crazy, 2 things, either put them in the bath or take them outside and then they'll like calm down. So it's kind of like the nature and washing it off in a way. It also works for me because I love anytime I'm sick or I just don't feel good, I like to get in the bath. But another thing I was going to say is like what they said at the meeting, because I even still get frustrated at Brayden because some things he does, I feel like he should learn already as far as Rainbow goes. He should already know how to do this stuff. And I don't
remember men are forgetful in nature.
Well, I don't just mean in every, and whoever, I can't even remember who it was, they were just like, they're new, they're still learning. And I have to say that to myself a lot. And it's been helping me be like, instead of just staying like, where am I failing in teaching you this? It just helps me. They're still learning.
Anytime anybody frustrates you, all you have to say to yourself is they just haven't learned yet. Because guess what? When you humble yourself and you think back to when you used to be like that, then you're like, man, how long did it take me to figure that out? And so that really does humble yourself. So whether that be you see someone get angry, let's use Jody's example, like someone who gets angry really quick. Okay, well, there was a time in my life that I got angry real fast, real quick, fast, in a hurry. So I know that, look, Giletta's like, me. So I'm like getting mad at this person because they get angry so quick and I think that's ridiculous. Well, guess what? It wasn't that long ago that was me. You're like, I was that person. I did those annoying things. But sometimes we forget, especially when you're self-developing, that, I've always been this way. You start to think like that and it's like, well, no, you weren't always that way. And if it took you some time to lick it, guess what? It's going to take them time too. So it's a big deal to realize those things, but they just haven't learned yet is huge. It will totally like bring your frustration down, when you're working with people, is just saying that they just haven't learned yet. And then also I say to myself, I go, this person's not trying to hurt me. I just say that in my head because realistically, I mean, any conversation I'm in, I don't think there's, I mean, there's probably someone, but I mean, I don't think people are trying to intentionally hurt me. Like, I just have to be like, they're not trying to hurt me. Why would they be trying to hurt me? So then that immediately lowers my defenses to where I'm no longer charged about the situation. It's one thing in a relationship is never question intent. If you're in a relationship, you never question intent. Gosh, this is so huge. And it's hard. It's hard, but just immediately, if when someone's talking to you or does something that upsets you, you have to go, that was not their intent. I know it wasn't. And guess what? Who cares if it was? I just need to know what I tell myself. It doesn't matter either way, to be honest. It just matters how I choose to take that. So, all right, we'll end with this, ladies. We put those questions in the comments again. So I think it'd be great for you guys to take some time, write these out. There's no right or wrong answers as far as how can I be more authentic and radiant? How can I be more playful? And how can I be more accepting and admiring? There's no right or wrong answers. You just know yourself and you know your tendencies. Okay. I know that I can have a tendency of being judgmental. I know that I have that in there. So accepting and admiring is just knowing that, well, why am I judging them? They need to be different than I am. That's what creates beauty in the world, that it's whatever your tendencies are. That's how you write these. And so there's no right or wrong answer when it comes to that. And then also another great exercise to do, and this is whether you're in a relationship, not in a relationship, it does not matter. I'm actually going to pull it up because I sent it to Zach and Janelle. And then I also gave this to Brittany and Lewis. And I'll type these in here. So it is, what is your ideal relationship? I would encourage if you could get your significant other to do this as well. This is huge because then you get to share it, but you do it separately. What values do you share? So it's, what is your ideal relationship? What values do you share? What impact does it have on others? What does it serve? What do you do together? It's hard to type at the same time when you're reading this. What do you do together? What do you share? And just put as many details as possible. So it's, what is your ideal relationship? What values do you share? What impact does it have on others? What does it serve? What do you do together? What do you share? So that's a big deal. And you put as many details as possible. And then the question is, here, I'm going to have Brittany type this as I say it. Brittany, do you mind typing it? Okay, so it says, what has to shift in you in order to have this ideal relationship? So what has to shift in you in order to have this ideal relationship? Who do you have to become? What has to change? So what has to shift in you in order to have this ideal relationship? Who do you have to become? What has to change? What are you willing to do to have this ideal relationship? So to me, this is important to do. I personally am like, do it separately. And I'm always like, do it for at least a song length that you write out for each question. So that way you're really kind of diving deep into those. I think that that's a big deal. And then you come together though, and you share your answers. So, because it's a big deal. Everybody has a different thing of what an ideal relationship is and what that looks like, And so it's important to know that though. It's very important to know that. So, but like I said, do this for about a minute, or not a minute, a song length. I think that's a big deal. So, but relationships are more important than the rules. So you just have to remember, if somebody has their ideal relationship, that's their preference. Okay. So, but whatever theirs is, it's your job to try and meet that. That's a big deal. I was trying to find one other quote that I had written down. I'm not finding it quick. I was searching it in my notes. I was like, I know exactly what it is, but I wanted to read it right. So anyways, it'll be for next time. But definitely, I think that that's important. So you guys can take some time, write those out. And if your spouse doesn't want to do it, that's okay. You should still do it. And you can still share it with them. And if you're not in a relationship, this does help you too, because you're writing out, what does your ideal relationship look like? You know, so that way you know more about yourself, of like, hey, this is what I desire and want, you know? And it's like that whole thing of in the 4 agreements, don't make assumptions. Don't assume that your partner knows exactly what you want, how you want it, when you want it, all those things. They don't. They're not mind readers, just like you're not. So it's important. But I love you all. Thank you guys so much for giving me your time today. I super appreciate it. I love these classes. It always fills my little heart and soul. So I get so excited to hang out with y'all. But love you guys. And also, I would love to hear some feedback. So do we have a ladies text that I made one time? Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, I would love it if you guys would send me what are some things that you would like to see discussed on these classes. So that way I can make sure that I'm continuing to bring value to you guys, and that we're talking about things that you guys want to hear about. So if y'all will send me some suggestions of like, man, I would love for you to talk about this specific subject, that would be great for me. So that way I can prepare for our next time together. So if y'all will just send me a text, that would be awesome. So love you guys so much, and we'll talk with y'all later. Bye.